How's it going today, guys? This is Dan with the Rapway Homestead, and today we're going to be taking a look at my 455 Husqvarna Rancher here. Just kind of going through it, getting it ready. Springtime is right around the corner. It's only 30 degrees today, but next week it's actually supposed to warm up into the 60s. So be wanting to get out and cut some fallen trees that have fallen in the yard, as well as at our property. We've got our cabin is full of down trees in the yard. I'm sure the trails are plugged up. We had some nasty heavy wet snow at the beginning part of the year that it's got everything pretty plugged up. So this chainsaw runs great. It's been super dependable for me. The only issue I've ever had with it is I got a long piece of grass where we were clearing some property out, and I got a long piece of grass stuck up behind the clutch. And that's where the driver that runs your oil pump for the bar oil is. And it actually like stripped out that gear, and it wasn't getting any oil to the chain, obviously. So that was a super easy fix, and I can't blame Husqvarna for that. That was my fault trying to use this thing to cut down tall grass, I guess. So definitely not its fault. But yeah, so we're just gonna be kind of going through. I don't know. It's all full of junk in here, old bar oil and sawdust and everything. We're gonna pop a new spark plug in it, clean out the air filter. I've got a newly sharpened chain that I sharpened. We're gonna put that on. And yeah, just make sure it's ready to rock and roll when we actually need it and get out and start cutting wood. So let's get after it. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and loosen up these two nuts here. And I'm sure, like always, they're way too tight. Yep. I wanna make sure that's always released too before you pull this guy off. Otherwise, you can get it off, but it's a bugger to get back on. You got to take stuff apart. So you always want to make sure that's in the operating position, or unlocked, I guess it would be. That chain brake is off. So I just loosen these up. This isn't so much a how-to. It's more or less just kind of hanging out with me today. I was in the mood to get this done, so yeah, figured I'd take you guys with. So this is your tensioner. I just loosen it so there's not a bunch of tension on the chain or on the bar when we go to pull these off. And get this guy pulled off here. All this stuff cleaned up real nice. Over time, when you're running these things, they just get so full of junk. Unfortunately, sometimes a little dirt from hitting the ground. So as you can see, that is just caked with sawdust and bar oil and dirt and everything that shouldn't be in there, really. So now we'll go ahead and we'll pop the chain off and take the bar off as well. Kind of sliding that back. There's our bar. Fish our chain out of here. Yeah, those definitely do. You can just see the chunks of junk falling off. This saw cuts a lot of wood every year, so this is a chain that we'll go ahead and resharpen. I'll probably make a separate video on sharpening chains once I have a few of them to do. Go ahead and set that chain over there, and we've got a freshly sharpened chain here. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is just kind of, I just take the screwdriver deal it comes with and kind of just sit and scrape all this, as much of this junk out of here as you can. Kind of free it up, make some room. The issue can become too, if this gets too built up, that's your oiler right here. You want to make sure that's free and clear of debris, and you don't put debris in trying to clean this off, honestly. But yeah, the issue can become if this gets too full of junk, it can get wound up in your clutch, it can plug up the oiler, just create all kinds of issues. So just kind of clean it out. Once we get it most of the way, we'll take compressed air and blow out all the finer crevices. But I like to just kind of get it started with this guy here. And we'll do the same, kind of push that to the edge here. Do the same with the cover here, so we'll scrape all the junk out of here. You can start to create a lag on the motor too if it gets wound up in this this chain brake area. You can start to obviously gum it up and plug everything up. So we'll just kind of clean this up. This is kind of a messy job, but it's not too bad. This saw puts in a lot of work every year. Everything from just clearing trails because we need to get through to cutting firewood to heat us all winter. So this saw is a Pretty important part around here, that's for sure. So I'll take our compressed air, get rid of this junk, sweep that up later. I'll go ahead and start blowing this out. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. You can see it's a little chewed up here. It must have, I don't remember if I had a chain come off or what, but this little guard here is getting pretty chewed up. Kind of odd. But I'll go ahead and finish cleaning all this junk out of here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Again, it don't gotta be perfect, it's just a chainsaw, but kind of free everything up. That part piece is good to go. We'll set that off to the side. Next thing is we'll get our bar cleaned out here as well. This bar is actually getting pretty darn sharp on the sides. I might take a file and kind of there's a really sharp edge to it. Unfortunately, when that oiler went out, I chewed up this bar pretty good because it wasn't getting oil, and I wrecked a couple chains as well because, well, they weren't getting any oil either. So honestly, I wasn't too sure what was wrong with it at first. I thought maybe the pickup screen inside the tank was plugged up. That ended up not being the case. I thought these screens here were plugged up. That wasn't the case. It took me a little bit to figure that guy out. So making sure our holes are clear. This one's plugged actually. I don't know if you can see that, but this hole is plugged up, and that's where our bar oil gets in. So this hole here is clean, which the way the bar was on this time was like this. I like to flip, every time I put a new chain on, I flip the bar back and forth just to let it wear evenly, but you gotta make sure these oiler holes are clean. So we'll try to blow that guy out here. There, now you can see it's nice and free and clear there of debris on both sides. So that's good to go there. I'll set that guy off to the side as well. And then we'll go ahead and just blow out the saw here. Try to blow the stuff away so you're not blowing it up into your motor. And then just kind of light pressure, not anything super crazy. Pretty good. Couple of tough spots here where it's gummed up. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Let's clear off our workspace here a little bit. All right, so now before we put the chain and everything back on, we'll go ahead and pop this top cover off here. It just takes a couple, loosen up these 3 screws. And remove our top cover, and now we have access to our spark plug and our air filter here. Yeah, it's definitely full of junk in here, so we'll go ahead and grab our air hose and blow that stuff out. Kind of being careful, you don't want to put a ton of air into here, you'll start rearranging stuff, but just trying to get the junk out. Alright, we'll move our air filter here and see how bad that is. There we go. Oh yeah, that's pretty full of junk. Definitely could use to be replaced. You can see in between each of them fins all the junk in there. And what's weird about these is this stuff like doesn't come off. I don't know why, but it does not come off of here. And it does a little bit of that. It does a little bit, but not clean like you'd want. Shouldn't be blowing it right towards our open carburetor there, should we? And you can kind of even take your screwdriver here and scratch away at it a little bit. You don't want to get too carried away because you'll damage the filter itself. But like I said, I need to get a new one of these. So after today, I am going to get a new one and we'll pop it in here before I start really putting this saw to use. But it'll be okay for today here. We'll blow her out one more time. You can see it's a little bit better, but it's definitely not great. But we'll go ahead and put that guy back on. But before we do, there's a lot of sawdust trapped underneath here, so we'll go ahead and plug that carburetor hole here and kind of gently blow that off. All right, that's good enough. I'll put this guy back on before any debris falls in there. Like that. All right, we'll go ahead and replace our spark plug. I don't think I've ever replaced a spark plug in this saw, and it's been, I think I've had this now 5 years or so, so it's due. See what it looks like here. Oh, running pretty good. Nice and tan color on the porcelain down in there. So yeah, it's running good. A little carbon buildup, so it's definitely good to replace it. Go ahead and make sure our new spark plug is the same number here. So it takes a BPMR7A and they are the same. So we'll go ahead and put our new spark plug in. Snug her down. Not getting too crazy. I'm not trying to tighten it from running away or nothing, just snug her down. That should be it for everything up under here. I'll blow this stuff off a little bit better. There we go. We'll go ahead and we'll pop our cover back on. I always like to do this stuff before you need it. Plenty before you need it, because otherwise it never fails. Spring comes and you're busy, and then all of a sudden it's like you need to use the saw, and now you need to spend time doing this when you need it, and that's not the time to be messing with a saw, especially if it's from storm damage and you're kind of in a little bit of an emergency type situation to get it done so you can get a tree cut off something, or you never know. But I know as soon as this weather gets nice, we're going to be going through and doing our trails, and like I said, the cabin full of brush, big oak tree fell there, so it's going to be getting put to use here. Just waiting for this darn snow to go away. Man, in Minnesota, we've had it rough this year. I don't know. It's been not a horribly hard winter, but it just doesn't want to give up. So the saw itself here now should be all ready to go. The only thing I want to do yet before we put it back together is go ahead and file down these super sharp edges on our bars. It's probably not incredibly necessary to do, honestly. It just rides on top, but for my peace of mind, I'm gonna go ahead and knock the edges off. So I'm gonna grab a file quick. And we don't have to get crazy. We're just gonna kind of, you can hear it grabbing there. It's starting to get better already, but it's real bad at the tip right here. Must have really been getting after something. I could use a power tool, an air tool or something, but oh, that's feeling a lot better. A little bit back here yet. There, that's pretty good. Go ahead and do this edge here. Oh yeah, you can hear how much that's biting. Especially back here, holy cow. Wonder what got into that. Might be time for a new bar here, not too long, but it doesn't have any big dips in it. It still has a fairly curved profile to it, so I think it should be okay for a little while yet. like I said, running it without, basically without bar oil or no bar oil getting to this really did not do the bar and the chain any favors at all, that's for sure. It is what it is. Oh yeah, that's feeling pretty good. Still just a tiny bit of an edge, but I don't want to go too far and start thinning up this wall right here, you know? So kind of just trying to take it easy. So that's them two sides done. Now we just got these two sides to go, and they're not as bad, so I must have been running it on this side of the bar for quite a while. Ooh, still a good bite there, though. There we go, that's pretty good. Flip her around. Ooh, that's sharp. Probably a piece of metal from doing this, I imagine. Lesser man would probably work. There went my scrinch. That's a technical term for this guy. You know that? This here is called your scrinch. Screwdriver wrench, you know? Technical term. Lesser man would probably wear gloves for this, you know, but if you got them creamy, lotiony hands like in, who sings that song? Post a comment below who in the heck sings that song. I don't remember right now. But yeah, can't grip tackle boxes, can't file chainsaw bars, can't do nothing really. Let's see. You guys see that Bud Light thing going around right now? That's absolutely ridiculous. I might make a separate video just on my viewpoint on that, because why not? A little bit right here yet. There, we'll call that good. Blow her off a little bit again, just to make sure you get them filings out. Alright. So, now let's go ahead and we'll put our new chain on. Put this one, this is our old one we just pulled off. Put that guy off to the side. We'll grab our new one. Now this can be like magic, trying to get these untangled. Ready? Watch how good I am at untangling these chains. Ha! Did not nail it. Alright, I think this one don't look too bad though. I think all we gotta do, sometimes this goes really easy and sometimes I struggle doing this. I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but there's something about chainsaw chains that I just don't get along with. But I think all we gotta do is run this one like this and we should be just fine. There we go. That one wasn't too bad. Alright, now we gotta position our chain in the right direction. And go ahead and start reinstalling it on our bar. Let's see, so we'll go ahead and we'll put our bar back on here. A little bit. You guys see that? Oh yeah, you can see. I'll slide you back a tickle here. Alright, go ahead and we'll get our chain put back on. Slide back here. This chain has a ton of slack in it. Holy cow. Jeez. This chain is just getting to be about had it. Which is a shame because it's got a lot of life left in it in the teeth, but stretch-wise, she's pretty stretched out. Again, bet you this was one of the chains that didn't get bar oil for probably a good tank of gas or so. So it's good for it, you know. Run it without bar oil, they like that. So we'll go ahead and pop our cover back on. We'll get this chain tensioned up. Make sure everything's lined up. So I just go ahead and kind of lightly start these. And these never have to be crazy tight. Just for some reason, I think they end up that way, because I try not to tighten them down too hard. But I swear, I don't know if it's like hot and cold, they just naturally kind of tighten up, but I don't know, something. Alright, so now that they're kind of touching, we'll go ahead and tighten this guy up, which is again just this little adjuster. And I just kind of go until you want to kind of pull the sag out of it, because when you're cutting, you're pushing down, so it'll kind of loosen. But I just pull it up, and then I just kind of run it tight until these teeth don't come up out of the bar anymore. And then it always loosens up a little bit the first time you start the saw. At least it does for me. So that's pretty good. That might be a little on the tight side, but again, it'll loosen up right away once we start it up and run it. So that's alright if it's a tickle tight for right now. Go ahead and snug these guys down just a little bit. Again, trying not to get crazy with it, but I don't know, I always seem to anyway. I don't know. Alright, so this thing should be ready to rock and roll. Let's check how much bar oil and gas we have in it. I guess I didn't really blow this side off very good, did I? It's not the important side, I guess, but... There we go. Alright, we'll check our gas and bar oil here. See, fuel goes in back there. So yeah, we can... Got about half a tank. We'll top her off, so it's good to go. Oh, that's tight. Holy cow. Oh, who tightened this bar oil cap last? Certainly wasn't me. Oh, there we go. Check that. Yeah, that could use to be topped off too here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but this guy right here is the coolest gas can / bar oil deal out there. I actually saw this on Stony Ridge Farmer. I'm sure you guys, if you're following me, you know about Stony Ridge Farmer. Go ahead and let him know I mentioned him, although he probably don't care. He's a huge channel, and I'm obviously not yet. But it's got a spot to put extra chains, tools, both sides. Put your scrinch fits in here. It's pretty cool that way. It's actually supposed to have another little door over here, I think, but it got lost. But what's nice is when I go and run the trails and start cutting up wood, I can just throw this in a little basket on the back of my Grizzly and throw the chainsaw in the basket as well, and I can just cruise around. So it works out pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is these ends get kind of dirty, so I always like to wipe them off before I use it. And the bar oil comes out of here pretty slow. Now you can get a, it comes with another cap that's just like a regular pour spout for the bar oil. The only thing I don't like about that is, and it doesn't have the cool shut off deal, and I always make a mess when I fill things with bar oil. So, I don't know, this definitely prevents a mess. It's just when it's cold out, it's definitely a little slow, but that's not the end of the world either. So we'll go ahead and top everything off, give this gas can a good little shake here. And then I always like to relieve the pressure. It seems like the shutoff deal works great, but if you don't do that first, it'll overflow. It doesn't shut off because there's pressure built up. So go ahead and top it off. But what's cool is it just stops. Like right there, it's full. I just like to make sure it actually closes, but I know you guys can't see that, but that is perfectly filled up, plump full. Doesn't spill, make a mess all over, in this case, my workspace, but otherwise the ground if you're working outside. Working on the back of your tailgate or your pickup, it doesn't flood the tailgate, so I don't know, maybe I'm just a messy creature, but I like that. And then we'll go ahead and put our bar oil on this side. Now this is what takes a little while. I don't totally prefer, just because bar oil is thick as honey, you know, especially when I just pulled this out of the shed and brought it in here, so it's going to take a minute, but it's going in there. It's not so bad. It wasn't completely empty, so it won't take too darn long here, but yeah, we'll go ahead and let her fill up, and then we'll see how many pulls it takes. I bet this saw hasn't been started in, I don't know, since probably November or so, and it's April now, so it's been all winter just sitting in the shed, be in there. See there, the bar oil is perfectly full. Didn't overfill, didn't get crazy. In fact, I didn't even notice when it got full. I was talking to you guys and it was full just sitting here waiting for me to pay attention to it. So go ahead and tighten that up. We'll go ahead and fire this baby up and see. Like I said, we'll see how many pulls it takes and run the chain just a little bit and make sure it, you know, let it get loose if it's going to get loose on me. Because again, it always seems to. I don't know if it's just the tensioning style that they use or what, but yeah, let's fire this baby up. All right, now this pretty much every time takes 3 pulls to start. It'll fire on the 3rd pull, and if you're quick enough to hit the choke off, it'll just keep running. So we'll see here. Again, it's been a while, but one thing is this saw is always dependable. It always starts. Yeah, it works great. So let's see here. Let's put our chain brake on so we don't cut our leg off. 1 pull, I guess. I can't believe that, guys. Like I said, literally November-ish since this thing ran last, and it fires up like that. I mean, you know, you can love your steel, and I'm not saying anything bad about any brand of chainsaw. I'm really not. I think they're probably all great as long as you're talking one of the, you know, the top 3 brands or so. But man, Husqvarna, in my opinion, is the way to go. I see guys ripping and ripping and ripping and pulling on their steels trying to get them to start. Like I said, it typically takes 3 pulls. 1 is crazy, but very, very impressed with that. All right, guys, well, there you have it. The 455 Rancher is ready to rock and roll for the season. I gotta go ahead. I'd like to just sharpen that chain real quick just so I have another chain on hand. But if you like this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button, like, and drop me a comment on kind of things you'd like to see. We'll be doing a lot of chainsawing with this, cutting firewood and things like that. And yeah, and we've also got a pretty cool woodworking project coming up. I'm going to build a generator hut for my Predator 3500 watts. So when we're at our off-grid property, I use it to power up my camper, and that way I don't have to lug it back and forth every time. I can just pop open a generator hut, I'm going to call it, and plug it in. So if that's something you'd like to see, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Until next time, you guys have a good one.